I'm gonna make a video on him because I love this character now.
Before you do that, hi, it's Sin. Nobody in the Tekken community but somebody on the internet. Today we're going to talk about our favorite character, Deviljin. Before we move on to talking about Deviljin though, we need to ask the question, what is a Mishima? A Mishima represents Tekken at its core, so classic gameplay and strong fundamentals, right? Let's list the Mishimas in the game right now. So Reina, Heihachi, Kazuya, and Deviljin, our favorite. Reina is a stance character through and through. She has a Mishima playstyle, but her main bread and butter is stance. Heihachi? You know what, we actually saved that for last. Kazuya, arguably the only real Mishima left in the game, although he has some like random stuff in heat, he still plays like a core Mishima in the end. Now Deviljin. He is supposed to be a representation of the lost fighting style of Tekken 3 Jin. But over the ages, Deviljin got an identity of its own. He doesn't seem to be shackled to the past regarding his playstyle. Get it, shackle. They even gave him a stance in Tekken 8. So what is Morning Crow? I mean, look, this is not a character analysis, but to make my point, I have to explain this stance, okay? So you have some options for Morning Crow, none of which are particularly threatening. And then you have other stances from other characters which are insanely threatening, always force you into 50-50 mix-ups. You can't really escape them without guessing with a coin flip. You either win or lose, basically. I'll continue with Deviljin, but let's go back to Heihachi. Now, Heihachi used to be a pure Mishima, just like Kazuya is right now. But they've actually just gone and changed him into a stance pressure character. Like, he essentially plays himself, and the skill ceiling for Heihachi is not that particularly high thanks to that whole Heat Warriors instinct system. Now with Deviljin, they tried to design him in a different way compared to the older iterations of the character, but I think they have failed, and now they're trying to make him more like Kazuya, which I think is hurting his identity. Most Mishima players are probably fine with Deviljin being as he is right now, because he's been powerful and oppressive for all these years of Tekken. But in my opinion, Deviljin players specifically can feel what's wrong with this character. Now, I've spoken to the main man about this. He has been vocal about how the transition to fly from block is very scrubby.
So Sim, I always personally thought Samsara on block, him having a built-in mix-up on that, where he flies afterwards, was always scrubby. It was always scrubby. So now it's a high committal move, as it always should have been. The old Samsara was so scrubby. I'm happy they changed it for Tekken 8.
See, I don't think that's the case though. Although like I'd agree to disagree with him, given that he's the most watched Tekken streamer out there, most people's opinions are going to be influenced by his. For a tool that has been with Deviljin ever since his debut, although not in Tekken Dark Resurrection because Samsara didn't even exist back then, why is it so outrageous that Deviljin can't have that back, but all of the other characters can enforce 50-50s or stance transitions from minus moves so they become plus, and it's okay for them, but not Deviljin?
Fly is beaten with sidestep to either side, but what was the harm? You and I are going to see this from vastly different points of view. I thought the old Samsara was scrubby. I prefer committal moves. I commit, and you can launch me.
You say you like committal moves, but the most of the cast do not have committal moves. And you want this game to have committal moves and more minus frames and more punishes and more interactions regarding defense and offense, not just purely offense. I get that. Given the track record, I don't think the cast is going to meet Deviljin at his level. So why can't Deviljin even slightly meet them at their level? See, when Falcon Round first released, he was a menace in Tekken 7, but in Tekken 8, he didn't even make a dent because he was already designed for Tekken 8 when he came out in Tekken 7, and now it isn't as bad. But when Deviljin came out in Tekken 8, Morning Crow and then the shackles and then all of the other gimmicky stuff, it was powerful at first, but once people figured out that if you just block, Deviljin can't really do anything other than his juiced up leg, baby.
You don't know why they buffed his health rate. Yeah, I love how Momo was also, oh my god, why are we buffing the health sweep? Oh my god, so stupid. And I'm like, it was the exact right call. This is the only way you could buff this character. More damage on slightly more damage on the health sweep. And a nice punish in 171-4. And upward 3 into guaranteed damage. Perfect buffs. Literally perfect buffs. Why wouldn't you buff his health sweep?
The only usable aspect of a character being one move is utterly horrible design. The way to buff Deviljin isn't to buff a useless move or make his hell sweep more dangerous. That doesn't help in the game plan at all. You're just trying to create another Kazuya clone, as I said in my previous video. If you want Deviljin to have a stance as well, which you already have given him, and since Kazuya does not have a stance, then I'm going to have to repeat myself. It seems to me that you want Deviljin to go a different route. If you want Deviljin to have access to stances or access to some pressure from those stances, you need to have some of the old things come back to him.
But I know what Momo is gonna say. Buff is down for one. Buff is poking. And I'm just like, that Devil-Jin is gone. And I don't want that Devil-Jin back. Okay?
His pokes are already bad. The only strong thing about him is his hell sweep and nothing else. The community trying to juice every single drop they can get out of Devil-Jin has basically resorted to using wall standing 3 and nothing else. Are we trying to play Hell Sweep and wall standing 3 simulator by playing Devil-Jin? I sure am not.
Make him slightly stronger while maintaining identity.
Okay, you guys gotta help me out here. What identity are we even talking about with the Mishima anymore? Like 3 of the 4 Mishimas in the game have access to stances and only 2 of them are worth a damn. I'll let you guess which ones. And if we're talking identity, wouldn't it make sense for Devil-Jin to have his old pokes and strengths back? With every change done to Devil-Jin, his identity becomes even more of a blur. Is he a stance rushdown character? Is he a fundamental Mishima? Is he a replacement for still Tekken 3 Jin? And while I'm talking about identity, does that mean that Heihachi is ruined then? Because I don't remember Heihachi having stance pressure the last time I checked. See, I'm aware this video is sounding more and more like a silence god of destruction Agaryu is speaking. The joke is not lost on me. But if we can't have the old strengths of Devil-Jin back and the moves he has are considered scrubby from the old games, then what does Devil-Jin have? What is Devil-Jin? What is he supposed to be? Because Devil-Jin either becomes a stance rushdown character like Heihachi and Reina are, or it becomes like a poking and 50-50 and mind game focused character like Kazuya is. Because as it stands, Devil-Jin has neither of those strengths. As a closing thought for the video, I don't think Main Man is fully wrong about the things he has said, and I respect him a lot as a player and as an individual. He's a really good entertainer and a really good player. I like him a lot. But let me know what you thought about Main Man's response and let me know what you think of my opinions. Dude, I'm excited to read the comments on this one. But yes, if you like this video, hit that like button, press subscribe, and share it to your friends to create even more chaos within the Tekken community. That's not my intention, I'm just joking. And I'll see you guys when I'll see you guys. This is SC Sin, signing off. Thanks for watching.